Good morning. It is 6:11 a.m. Yes, my microphone is working. 6:11 a.m. on Friday, July 31st, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I was planning to upgrade my computer to Windows 10 last night, except that I had thought that I got everything all set in advance, but apparently I had not actually reserved my copy of Windows 10 or something. So I was unable to proceed. I was able to pull up a little button that said, "Here, click this to reserve your copy of Windows 10." And I would click it and nothing would happen. But I wake up this morning and turn on my computer, and a different thing is on my computer saying that I can reserve my copy of Windows 10. I clicked the reserve button on that one, and that one worked. So now I have reserved my copy of Windows 10, apparently. I have not yet gotten my notification that my copy of Windows 10 is available yet. Excuse me. My understanding is that maybe it needs to download itself first or something. But whatever. The other thing that I did last night was to play Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. And perhaps you are tired of Metal Gear Solid talk after yesterday's review and of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. But I believe it's important to do them together because Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, first of all, is kind of a weird product because generally speaking, the Metal Gear Solid games are these big epic things with big epic stories. Whereas Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes feels more like a demo, or like the increasing trend now of having these episodic games. Except this one is just a one-shot. It's like, I'm trying to think. Imagine if the next Fast and Furious movie was just a half an hour that they premiered on CBS at 9 p.m. on a Thursday or something. Weird, right? That would be weird. Well, yeah, this is weird too, because it is a Metal Gear Solid game, but it's the entire story part of it is only like an hour and a half long. Which I knew going in, so that was not a shock. But I only knew it because this game is not brand new, and I had heard other people expressing their shock that it was so short. Mechanically, it's very cool, and it actually does have quite a lot of side stuff to do, kind of like Peace Walker did. But the story being so short is just a little weird. But here's why I wanted to talk about them so close together, is that I am so glad that I played Peace Walker first. I was tempted not to because, as I had mentioned, there were times in my play of Peace Walker that I hesitated to continue. It took me, like, when I originally started it was a long time ago. But I had decided that because I enjoy the story of Metal Gear Solid so much that I want to not skip a chapter, especially when I've heard from some people. Greg Miller, formerly of IGN, now of Kinda Funny, in particular is an evangelist for Peace Walker. And so I had been tempted occasionally to skip it because just playing on the Vita is not really what my way I want to experience Metal Gear Solid is, really. So I love my Vita otherwise, but in any case, I'm glad that I played through it, not only because I enjoyed it, but because the story of Ground Zeroes is really dependent on it in a way that I didn't expect. I mean, if you have not played Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes gives you enough backstory to know. Like, if you listen to these cassette tapes that you get, and you read the briefing files, and so it'll tell you like the basics of oh, hey, there's this girl named Paz, and here's what she did, and here's what she's like, and now she's captured, and you got to save her. And then here's this kid, Chico, who loved Paz, and so he tried to rescue her, but he got captured, so you got to go save him too. Go. Now, I applaud the game for just getting right into it. Now, that's something that's a marked contrast from Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, because that one takes like 45 minutes before you even move. It's all cutscenes before that. And I'm not even kidding about that number, by the way. But I don't know. That's part of what I like, just the sprawling, sloppy, but awesome story of Metal Gear Solid. I dig it. I dig it. In any case, Ground Zeroes gets right to the point. You know, like you can pull up more of the backstory and listen to these briefing files if you want, but it also doesn't make you do it. You know, if you want to just get right to the gameplay, you know, it'll just say, okay, first mission, there's this kid named Chico and this girl named Paz, go rescue them. Go. And then like, oh, okay, I guess I will. And that's probably a good idea because people who have not played through the whole series, you know, hearing all the backstory is going to be a lot of names and places and stuff that they don't really follow, and so maybe they just want to get right to the action. And so that, I think, is probably a good gameplay decision, but I also appreciated the ability to look up more of the backstory. But I tell you, all that said, having just played Peace Walker, everything that happens in Ground Zeroes is like, it is the next thing for Peace Walker. It really feels like just the next chapter in the Peace Walker story. It is very dependent on it, and in particular, the ending, which I won't spoil. The ending of Ground Zeroes is like perfectly calculated to say, let's take the people who've just finished playing Peace Walker and make them like really mad. And I don't mean like mad at the game. I mean like mad within the story universe that these guys have just did something to us. Arrgh. Because I just spent all that time in Peace Walker building up this whole thing. And Ground Zero just wipes it out in a way that was really emotional for me because I had just finished building it in Peace Walker. It's interesting. And I'm sure calculated. I will, however, note without spoilers that there is something that happens in the end of Ground Zeroes that many have criticized, became a bit controversial on account of it being super gross and in ways that are not just violent. It's been... There's stuff in there that have been accused of being misogynist, and I definitely see where people would get that. I don't fully agree, but that's, I think, because I'm viewing the whole story in a broader context of knowing all of the rest of it and just the general flavor of the storytelling and what they're going for in this bit. But, you know, at the same time, sometimes things have to be, I don't know, you know, like there's room for criticism. You know, it's kind of like, do you really, when you're making a game, have to have played 400 hours of other games in order to understand it? That's questionable. Certainly there's room for criticism. What happens to this particular character in the game is very upsetting on a story level, even for me who have the broader context, but it doesn't feel like the game is misogynist to me in that context, even though certainly what happens in it is super, super gross. And it's actually a step beyond really stuff that has happened in other games. So that plus the decision to change the voice actor from David Hayter uh, to Kiefer Sutherland for the main character. Honestly, I wish they hadn't changed it. I mean, Kiefer Sutherland does a fine job, but he's not the same guy. I've played all of these other games with the same voice actor as the main character, and now it's a different guy. But I think it's all part of the effort to, keep the formula churning a little bit. You know what I mean? We make it a little grittier. We change the voice actor. Although it's just, as good as Kiefer Sutherland is viewed objectively, one of my favorite running gags in all of Metal Gear Solid is David Hayter going, Metal Gear. Because it's like this gag where anyone who says Metal Gear and he repeats it, he's Metal Gear, Metal Gear. Anyway, boy, I've gone long on this one. Ground Zeroes is definitely very interesting from a mechanical standpoint and all the stuff you can do. And I imagine Metal Gear Solid 5, when it comes out, will be very similar to that, albeit longer. And I'm excited for it. And now the decision is just whether or not to continue on through the side stuff in Ground Zeroes, move on to some other game in my backlog, or alternately, what I'm feeling most inclined to do right now, replay the whole series of Metal Gear Solid. Anyway, I'll figure something out. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.